Hello guys and welcome to a book haul. Um, I have literally just counted all the books I'm going to haul today and there are 27. Yeah. So I'm going to start with the review books and then I'll just you know how this works. So from Electric Monkey I was sent 4 books and they are, do you see how high I was reaching? That's how many books there are in this haul. Yeah. Apologies if you can hear something. That is my fan. It is hot in the UK, so I needed to cool myself down. So anyway, the first book they sent me is Suicide Notes from Beautiful Girls by Lynn Weingarten. Now I know my friend Charlie from Duvet Day Devours was sent this and read it and absolutely loved it. And this line on the back had me hooked straight away. Delia burned to death in her stepfather's shed. They say it was suicide. So then I think the girl who died, I think she starts to think it wasn't suicide and it was murder, so she tries to figure it out. So yeah, I thought that would be really exciting, so I requested it. And then they also sent me I'm not sure what this series is called. Okay, it's called the Twin Maker Trilogy by Sean Williams. So there's Twin Maker, Crash Land, and Hollow Girl, and they are in that order. So there's Twin Maker, Crash Land, and Hollow Girl, and these are about you. It says you are special, you are unique, and you have been selected. The method is simple, improvement is certain. You can change anything. So it's about somebody who gets the chance to change anything they want about themselves. And it says, but what starts as Libby's dream turns into Claire's nightmare when her friend vanishes, and then she goes to look for her. So, yeah, I just thought they sounded really interesting. The trilogy is complete, they look really nice on my shelf, and they have awesome covers. So, yeah, thank you to Electric Monkey for those 4. Okay, and then I saw this on Acacia Leaves, I think, channel. And this is The Hospital Always Wins, and it's a memoir by Ibrahim. And this guy, if this is a memoir, this guy's mum was killed by Issa's dad or stepdad, and it sent him a bit crazy, and he ended up in a mental hospital. And I think he kept saying that he knows who killed his mum and stuff like this, and the hospital just thought he was going crazy, so they kept him in there. Yeah, and it's just his memoir about all of that, really. I just thought it sounded really, really interesting. And this was actually sent to me by Chicago Review Press, which is based in America. So they sent this all the way from America, and it's a hard copy. So thank you so much to Chicago Review Press for this. I was then sent a few books from, I think these are all from Little Brown, let me just check. Yeah, they are. Okay, so there's 4 books from Little Brown. There is The Heart Goes Last by Margaret Atwood. This is, I've never read a Margaret Atwood. I've never read a Margaret Atwood book, but I've heard they are amazing. And this is about a couple who sees a ad for the perfect job. So they both apply for it at the same time, but the only hitch with the job is you can never leave the job. So I thought that sounded really interesting. And yeah, I've always thought the Margaret Atwood's books sound good, but I've never actually read any. So I thought I should get on it and try one. So this is the one I picked. They also sent me Hangover Square by Patrick Hamilton. This is a crime novel set in 1939. And yeah, this guy basically is a creep, and he follows this girl around, and he's infatuated with her, but not in a weird way. The only times he thinks about killing her is when he's in his dead moments, which is when something goes click in his head, and he realises without a doubt that he must kill her. So I thought it sounded weird and interesting, so I thought I would give it a go. And if I like it, he's also written 2 other books, 20,000 Streets Under the Sky and The Slaves of Solitude, which I think follow the same weird guy. They also sent me this gorgeous copy of The Dog Who Dared to Dream by Sun-Mi Hwang. This is written by the same person who wrote The Hen Who Dreamed She Could Fly, which apparently was a brilliant book. Yeah. And this has French flaps, and it's gorgeous. And yeah, it's about a dog called Scraggly, and he's born an outsider because of... Oh, she is born an outsider because of her distinctive appearance. She spends most of her days in the sun-filled yard of her owner's house. Scraggly has dreams and aspirations just like the rest of us, but each winter dark clouds descend, and Scraggly is faced with challenges that she must overcome. Through the clouds and even beyond the gates of her owner's yard lies a possibility of friendship, motherhood and happiness. They are for the taking if Scraggly can just hold on to them, bring them home and build the life she so desperately desires. So I thought it sounded good. It's about a dog. Hello. Thought it sounded awesome. And then the last book they sent me is Darktown by Thomas Mullen. Now I was interested in this because it's a crime novel set in Australia, which I think is really interesting. Yeah, it says... Oh, actually, I thought it was in Australia, but... Oh, okay, I don't think it is. It says Atlanta, 1948. In this city, all crime is black and white. So maybe it's not. Oh, actually... this is when segregation was still in force in America. And it says, on one side of the tracks are the rich white neighbourhoods, on the other, Darktown, the African-American area, guarded by the city's first black police force of only 8 men. These cops are kept near powerless by the authorities. They can't arrest white suspects, they can't drive a squad car, and they must operate out of a dingy basement. When a poor black woman is killed in Darktown, having been last seen in a car with a rich white man, no one seems to care except for Boggs and Smith, 2 black cops from vastly different backgrounds. Pressured from all sides, they will risk their jobs, the trust of their community, and even their own lives to investigate her death. So, it sounded interesting. And I've heard Thomas Mullen is a really good author, and I love this cover, look. If you flip it that way, it's the Atlanta skyline. I think that's a really nicely designed book. But yeah, I'm excited to try this one out. And now we move on to books that I've either bought... Okay, no, I bought all of these, and there's a lot, so I'm just going to go ahead. So, I managed to pick up Very Good Lies by J.K. Rowling, very cheap on Amazon. And this is a speech she did. It's called The Fringe Benefits of Failure and the Importance of Imagination. And it's just a really nicely designed book. It looks like this under the dust jacket. And then all throughout, it's got really nice pictures. But yeah, it's just a speech she did about writing and how she gets her inspiration. And I just thought it sounded really interesting. And I like books about authors doing speeches about writing. On the back, the quote is, "We do not need magic to transform our world. We carry all the power we need inside ourselves already." So, I mean, I love J.K. Rowling, I love her writing. Wasn't a fan of the series she did, Cormoran Strike series. Wasn't a fan of that. But yeah, I just thought this was an essential thing to have in my J.K. Rowling collection. And then from Amazon, I picked up Monsters, a Bestiary of the Bizarre by Christopher Dell. And I first saw this on Simon of Savage Reed's channel, and his channel is fantastic. If you haven't checked it out, please do. Yeah. And I've already started reading this. And it's just like a compendium of lots of different types of monsters from all over the world, and different time periods, and how they relate to modern, yeah. But there's dragons and flying monsters, sea monsters, ancient Egyptian monsters, and it's just really interesting. And it's gorgeous, and it's a small little dinky book, and I love it. I then also picked up The Whispering Muse. Now, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, so I'm not going to try. But I think it's Sion, and he's Iceland's, well, he's a very famous Icelandic writer, and yeah, it's a very short book, and it's about a fisherman in 1949 in Iceland, and I'm not actually too sure what it's about, but I've seen people review it, and they said it's brilliant. So I just thought I'd give it a go, and the cover is absolutely gorgeous. So yes. Sorry, I'm trying to go a bit fast because I'm aware there are a lot of books. So the next book I have is Every Heart a Doorway by Sion and Maguire. Now, Sion and Maguire, if you didn't know, is also Mira Grant, who wrote the Feed Trilogy and other books like Parasite and yeah, those books. Anyway, this is also a very short book, but I've heard it's brilliant. It's kind of like a modern fairy tale, and I don't want to know too much because apparently it's best to go in blind. It's very short. It's got an amazing cover. It's the first book in a trilogy, I believe, so that's interesting. Yeah, and it's described as Girl Interrupted meets Grimm's Fairy Tales, and yeah, it just sounds and looks gorgeous, and I can't wait to read it. I then got a copy of Kajiki by Keith Yatsuhashi, and this is basically about I think it's like a modern take on an old Chinese folk tale. Yeah, about this girl who her father dies unexpectedly, and she finds a note, and yeah, that's what it's about. But yeah, I'm excited to read it, and the cover's gorgeous. I then picked up a copy of Afterworld by Scott Westerfeld. This, apparently, is awesome, and it's basically 2 books in one. It's a book about a writer who is writing the other story that's in this book. So, yeah, and then the things that... hang on. Sorry. It says, Darcy writes the words, Lizzie lives them. So this girl, Darcy, is writing a story, and then this girl, Lizzie, is the character in Darcy's book, but apparently, like, their lives start to mingle and stuff starts to happen in real life, and I've just heard it's brilliant. Charlie from Duvet Day Devours told me it's amazing. So yeah, it's quite a beast, but I suppose it's because it's 2 books in one. But I've heard it's brilliant, so... I then picked up a copy of The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. This is book 1 of the Gentleman Bastard series, and it's about a guy called Locke, who is also known as the Thorn of Camor, and he's a thief. And I'm not sure what else happens. It says, caught up in a murderous game, Locke and his friends are suddenly struggling just to stay alive. And I've read the first couple of pages of this, and I love the writing style. So it sounds like it's going to be awesome. I was then very excited for this book to come out and purchased it basically straight away, and it is Nevernight by J. Kristoff, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Look at it. And under the dust jacket, oh, okay, under the dust jacket is like this embossed bird, and then the end paper's all starry. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, and if you didn't know, this cover was designed by Kirby Rosans, who's a very famous Filipino illustrator, who also has two adult colouring books out, Imagimorphia and Animorphia. But anyway, it's gorgeous, and it's a fantasy. On the back it says, be advised the pages in your hands speak of a girl who was to murder as maestros are to music. A girl song called Pale Daughter, or Kingmaker, or Crow. A killer of killers whose tally of endings only the goddess and I truly know. Ooh. I started reading this. Okay, listen. I started reading this, yeah. And I'm only on, like, page 9, but there are some sexy times in this book. But anyway, it's gorgeous. And I think this is going to be a trilogy, so that's awesome. Okay, next book I picked up is Foxlow by Eleanor Wasserberg, and it's gorgeous. Yeah, and this is basically a book about a cult. Kind of like the Manson cult. I don't think it's real, I think it's based on the Manson cult or something like that. So, I love books about cults, however weird that sounds, so I thought I would give it a shot. I then picked up Nerve by Jean or Jeanne Ryan, I'm not sure. And it's basically like a YA dystopian where you can either be a watcher or a player. If you're a player, you play this game, and if you're a watcher, you watch the game being played, and and you make the decisions for the players. Not for the players, but you give them tasks and things they can do. And the reason I thought this was interesting is because I saw the trailer for the movie, and it's basically like the Hunger Games, but all the tasks are sent to you via social media. So you could get a text, you could get an email, you could get a Facebook post telling you what your next task is. And I just heard it's amazing. And, I mean, I started reading it. Literally, I only read the prologue, sorry, but I loved the writing style straight away. And I'm excited to carry on with this one. And then I want to see the movie. But if I see the movie before I finish the book, I don't care. People are always like, oh, you should totally read the book before you see the movie. And I'm like, no. If I want to watch the movie first and then read the book, I will. You know, it's my choice. I didn't like the Divergent book. I only got about halfway through and I DNF'd it. But I saw the movie and I loved it. So, and then I read The Giver and it was an amazing book. And then I watched the movie and I wasn't so fussed. I didn't think it was amazing. So, you know, for me, I don't care which way round I do it. Next book I got is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabah Tahir. Now, Charlie from Do the Day Devours, all links of people's channels that I mentioned will be in the description box, said that this was one of her favourite books as well, and she couldn't put it down. She's already read an arc of A Torch Against the Night, which is the sequel. Yeah, but I started reading this, and I'm loving it so far. I'm only on chapter 3, but it's interesting. It's kind of like a fantasy, but with a lot of political things in it. And yeah, it's interesting so far. Wow, we're at 17 minutes. That's a record for me. Okay, next book I got is A Confusion of Princes by Garth Nix. And it says, trained to become a prince of the Empire, Prince Khemri is faster, stronger and smarter than any ordinary person. Which is just as well. Behind the Empire lies a terrible truth. There are 10 million princes and all of them want each other dead. And I've heard this is really good. And it's a floppy one. Ish. It's kind of floppy. But I've heard this is a really good fantasy. And it's a standalone from Garth Nix. So yeah. I think it might have a bit of sci-fi in it as well. Because see those ships at the top. They look very sci-fi. So I'm excited for that one. Oh, I should mention these next... That one and the next 3 I got from my work because I work in a charity shop on a Monday. So yes. Next one I got when I was at work is What's Left of Me by Kat Zhang. This is an old dystopian that a lot of people love. And on the back it says, imagine that you have 2 minds sharing one body. You and your other self are closer than twins, better than friends. You have known each other forever. Then imagine that people like you are hated and feared. That the government want to hunt you down and tear out your second soul, separating you from the person you love most in the world. Now meet Ava and Addie. They don't have to imagine. Ooh, drama! But yeah, I thought it sounded awesome. And I like the cover, which always helps. Okay, the next book I got is Refugee Boy by Benjamin Zephaniah. Now, if you don't know Benjamin Zephaniah, he wrote a very famous poem called Talking Turkeys, which is a very funny... You should look it up. It's a very funny poem. But yeah, I know him mostly as a poet, so I didn't know that he writes books as well. So I found this. Yeah, and I don't want to read what it's about yet. I'm just going to pick it up when I pick it up. The next book I got at work is City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare, which is the second book in the Mortal Instruments series. I'm going to pick these up in these old original covers because I just prefer them. And yeah, apparently these are really good books. And I haven't even read them yet. So I will get on that at some point. I've only got the first 2 books, so who knows. Okay, only 3 books left, people, and we're already at 20 minutes. The next book I picked up is Daughter of Deep Silence by Carrie Ryan. Now, Carrie Ryan wrote The Forest of Hands and Teeth trilogy. I'm not sure what the other books are called. But, yes, this one is basically a revenge story. It says, I am the daughter of murdered parents. I am the friend of a dead girl. I am the lover of my enemy, and I will have my revenge. And this is a standalone from Carrie Ryan, and I've heard it is very good. And I like this. How cool is that? All the chapters start with that nice little swirl, and the end papers are like this iridescent metal-y type effect, and then it's just plain blue under the dust jacket. But this cover is amazing, and I think it's going to be really interesting. So yes, that is that one. Right, 2 books left. Okay. The next book I bought is The Comet Seekers by Helen Sedgwick. I've heard this is brilliant. And come on, it's gorgeous. These effects up here, like, it feels like they're actually sewn on, which is amazing. But yeah, it says, Rasheen and Francois first meet in the snowy white expanse of Antarctica, and everything changes. While Rasheen grew up in a tiny village in Ireland, ablaze with a passion for science and the skies and for all there is to discover about the world, Francois was raised by his beautiful young mother, who dreamt of new worlds but was unable to turn her back on her past. As we look back through their lives, glimpsing each of them only when a comet is visible in the skies above, we see how their paths cross as they come closer and closer to this moment. Theirs are stories filled with love, hope and heartbreak that show how strangers can be connected and ghosts can be real, and the world can be as lonely or as beautiful as the comets themselves. I thought it sounded brilliant, and like I said, I've heard it's really good. So I'm excited for this. And look at the end papers. They're all like different comets from like throughout history and stuff. But yeah, I just thought it sounded really good. And it doesn't hurt that it's beautiful. And the last book of this very large haul is Twist by Tom Grass. This is basically a modern version of Oliver Twist. So it says, you want more? Take it. Twist and Dodge scrambled out onto the roof and raced to the edge of the building. 95 stories up, London was laid out beneath them like a circuit board. Sorry for getting you into this, Dodge said. Twist pulled the pack onto his back and fastened the straps across his shoulders, then climbed up onto the edge and looked across at Dodge. It's easy, Dodge said, drawing out a toggle at the front of his pack. You just pull this. Twist found his own toggle and gripped it hard in his hand. Can't go through life trusting no one, he said. Then, as one, they stepped off the edge and jumped. So that sounds really good as well. So yeah, that is my rather large 27 book haul. There were more books I was waiting for, but they are taking forever to arrive. So I thought, do you know what, while I have the time, I'm just going to film this and get it up for you guys. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this haul. There will be more books coming at some point, so look out for that. If you've heard about any of these books, if you've read them, if you recommend them to me, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you again very soon. Thank you for watching. Hey guys, so I lied, there are actually 28 books in this haul because one of them that I've been waiting for has just arrived, and it is the beautiful Furthermore by Tahera Mafi, who is the author of the Shatter Me trilogy, or series, which I haven't read because they don't interest me, but I saw this and I heard about it, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Like, just take a minute to sink into the beauty of the cover. It's absolutely stunning. And also it's a middle grade, but it's basically about this girl who I think is called Alice, and she is born into a world full of colour, but as you can see, she has no colour. She is colourless, and I think she has some magic, or she meets this boy who has magic and he helps her to gain her colour and all that stuff, I think. It's been compared to a lot of things, but it's been mainly called the new Alice in Wonderland, which really excites me. So yeah, sorry I lied to you, but there is a 28th book, and it is the beautiful Furthermore by Tahera Mafi. I will see you all soon. Goodbye.